And we welcome you live inside the historic Hobart Arena as Troy, Ohio TV and the Troy, Ohio Television Network proudly present Ohio High School Athletic Association varsity hockey as the Troy Trojans host the Lexington Thoroughbreds from Kentucky in a non-conference holiday tournament action from Hobart Arena. Tonight is a whole slate of hockey, and the Trojans hosting once again the Miami Valley Freeze Invitational here at Hobart, and this is game number 2 for the Trojans this weekend. They came away with a big win last night here at home to open the tournament against Alter. The night falling to the Trojans, and we are currently underway from the historic Hobart Arena in downtown Troy. As the Trojans starting netminder Simon Latif getting a little bit of early test there from the Thoroughbreds. This is the first time either of these teams have met this season. They met one time last year as a shot turned aside. That one played down, back down low into the corner, cycling it down off the end boards. Starting netminder for the Thoroughbreds, number 60, Joshua Henry, as the Trojans in their alternate red uniforms with the gray piping control that one back inside their own zone at the point. That one touched up at neutral ice before the Trojans forced to send that one down for an icing, but it's waved off, and both clubs now getting wholesale changes early in this afternoon matinee of hockey. Glad to have everybody along the ride for some afternoon hockey from Hobart. The Trojans and the Thoroughbreds just facing off as that one's going to go off, and offsides the call against the Trojans now to stop the clock with 13:39 to go in the opener. And we mentioned it is a tournament. It's the annual Miami Valley Freeze hosted by the Trojans. This year featuring Troy, Alter, Lexington, Beaver Creek, Springboro, Clay, Elder, and even a travel team. The Troy Bruins U18 Rec League team is in the lineup. And certainly taking some early lumps as they just fell to Alter 11-0. The Trojans will have a chance to take a look at their Recreation League brethren tonight, the late game the Trojans playing, as the Thoroughbreds will send that one inside Trojan territory. Latif posts up on the side of the cage and able to make the save as the Thoroughbreds send that one rink wide. Coulter sent it back into the far wing corner as the Trojans throw it quickly around. Finally picked up on the half boards and out to center as icing signaled. Icing will be called as it just trickles across the goal line. And both teams, as you see there, will get wholesale changes out on the ice. That stopped the clock with 12:47 to go as the fans still continue to trickle in. An earlier start time than what the fans are used to here, but as part of the tournament, the Trojans' times this weekend getting a little discombobulated. But a beautiful afternoon for some varsity hockey action as the shot high off the end glass. Rebound to the near side corner as Carson Smith couldn't control it. That one hit off the top of the iron. The rebound clears out between the circles, and they'll drop it back to Berghardt at the point. A close call there for the Trojans. Back into the far corner. Carson Smith throws it back in behind the net, out of the trapezoid and around to the near side. That's held on at the point. The shot from Crawford back to the left wing side as they'll send it out in front. Barnes thought he had something going, but not too much, as here come the Thoroughbreds back the other way and across the line. Dumping it back deep into the corner. They'll post up as Crawford scoops it up inside his own zone. Now up the wing, but not out. Is a high shot from Wilkinson. Just not quite enough for it to go as they'll move it around the other side. And now here come the Trojans, 180 feet the other way. As Berghardt wipes out, they'll throw it back into the far wing corner. Still controlling, as now the Thoroughbreds back the other way. Too wide at the line. They'll force it back into the corner. Tangled up in some stick work as that one's going to be scooped up out from behind Latif and finally wrapped around the boards. We'll tie that one up on the half wall as walking in as Kloss couldn't get much on it. Kloss has his pocket picked, and now here come the Trojans the other way as Beidel just dumps it in for a change. Fresh from the bench, a shot as that one deflected up into the protective mesh, and we'll get a stoppage now with 11:06 to go. A scoreless affair if you're just joining us here on Troy, Ohio TV. And the faceoff will remain inside the Lexington zone. Fresh legs out on the ice for the Trojans as they'll win the draw cleanly, but a blown tire will knock that one away as they'll retreat back out to neutral ice as Talbot's going to be offsides, and that's the call. 10:56 to go here in the opener. The faceoff will come back out into the neutral zone directly opposite of head coach Preston Howe's bench. Trojans taking full advantage of that short neutral zone. A lot of teams coming in, especially non-conference teams, struggling with the neutral zone, 15 feet short. And that was one of those instances where we see the offsides as a culmination of that. Is offsides again going to be called against Lexington as Johnson thought it was onside. Referee Darrell Kindop was all over it, as was referee Bill Peck, your two officials from the Southwest Ohio High School Hockey League tonight. And so the face-off again in the neutral zone near wing opposite of Preston Howe's Troy Trojans bench. Having quite the run in his first season as head coach of the Trojans after taking over for program founder Rick Szabo at the tail end of last season. And here they come out through center ice. Over the line. Dangles it back into the corner. Barnes is back to help out, as is Harris. Tries to set that one up. Point blank for Weaver. But couldn't connect, and so they'll regroup back on the far wing side. Mason Weaver was streaking right in front of the net and thought he had something there. They're going to call no offsides as they tag up at the line. And the Trojans able to clear back inside Lexington territory. Under 10 minutes to go in this opener as back to play at his wedding. Sidesteps a hit, loses the puck in the process, and now here comes a one-touch, scooped away by Cooper Sexton through neutral ice, and he'll retreat back at his own line. Sexton across the red stripe and in onside, a shot, low, wide on the end boards left wing side, and now the breakout attempt the other way for the Thoroughbreds. Big hit as Smith stood up down low. He'll send it around for Harris, one touch. Back out to neutral's ice it goes as the Thoroughbreds pass ahead, now deep inside the Trojan zone. Forcing it back into the corner. 9:12 and counting in this opening period, still scoreless if you're just joining us. As they'll tangle it up against the kick plate in the near wing corner. Finally, it comes free. Still trying to control that puck. They'll send it up to Wilkinson, a drive. That hit a stick up in front. Deflected off the high glass, and the Trojans are able to get ahead with this one. All alone, there's Carson Smith gets strangled up. And now the Thoroughbreds clear this one out. One touch pass inside the Trojans line. Back into the near wing corner. Still with the puck. Troy's going to scoop that one up and out of play. And with 8 minutes and 29 seconds, that errant puck brought to you by OGP, the official game puck provider of the Troy Trojans. Another fabulous souvenir for a fan here as part of the Miami Valley Freeze tournament. The Trojans in their second game of 4 this weekend. That's a lot of hockey for anybody. As here's Sexton, a drive and a pad save. Made by Henry. They'll work it down low off the corner. Cycling it again. Top of the point, there's a shot. Low on the ice. Rebound off the end boards. Now around to the far side corner. And out with it come the Thoroughbreds. Right in front of the red stripe. Still with it on the far side. They'll one touch it up ahead now and across the Trojans line. Where that one's stymied again. Scooped up now by the Trojans. Onside they go. Racing forward to Smith. One-timer for Francis Knott. But I'm afraid Knott wasn't able to get the shot. Say that 3 times fast. Back inside the Trojans' end as they'll regroup. A shot, point blank, turned aside by Latif. Rebound. Scoops up Francis Knott, who is streaking through the neutral zone. With a head of steam, the Trojans calling off for a line change. Getting caught with one there. Here's Sexton the other way. Point blank, he scores! One touch in front of the slot, and the Trojans take a 1-0 lead. That was a group effort right there as the initial play from Francis Knott on the short side was enough to get things moving. And a little help from Cooper Sexton always goes a long way to make it a 1-0 hockey game early. As the Thoroughbreds take it inside the Trojans' end, but here they come the other way. A lot of speed at the Thoroughbred line as Wenning. Right back now for Sexton. Behind the back play. Gets it ahead for Condi. Back to Sexton. A drive and a pad save made by Henry. Rebound back into the near corner. Couldn't get much on it. Will force it ahead as Smith. Stays onside. He'll work it deep inside the Trojans' end as that sails just wide. Off the end boards now to the near wing. Played by Sexton, but he gives it away. Here's another play, top of the circle. Sexton at the tail end of his shift, and you can tell he is gassed at the end of this one. Finally gets it ahead. Trojans are going to be offsides, and offsides the call now to stop the clock with 6:19 to go. A 1-0 Good Guys lead if you're just joining us here on Troy, Ohio TV. And the faceoff will remain inside the neutral zone. And in to take the draw is Barnes. Will Barnes will finally bobble at the dot before it's picked up by the Thoroughbreds. Trojans offsides, they'll tag up at the line with this one right back to Talbot. Inside his own zone for Lexington. There's a shot right off the stick down low of Harris, and that goes up and out of play. And that's enough now for a whistle with 6:01 to go, and a good play set up from the top of the near wing circle as that shot blasting up high. Unfortunately, it was a tad too high in that case as the faceoff controlled by the Trojans inside their own end. Left wing corner, here's Luke Harris. The freshman getting it back into the near corner, getting some quality minutes his freshman season. Back for Barnes. Backhander off the side of the cage. Kloss is there, sends it around. Now for Madison on the left wing side for the Thoroughbreds. And out they come to neutral ice. Changing back inside the zone is Berghardt out from behind his net. Around now from Carson Smith on this breakout attempt and out to center ice. Barnes, a little help from Smith, gets that one just across the line. Smith is there, or was it? As the referee, Jarrell Kindop, says it wasn't, and offsides is the call. Now with 5 minutes and 20 seconds to go. Here in this opening period, a 1-0 hockey game if you're just tuning in. An afternoon matinee along the banks of the Great Miami River as part of the 2023 Miami Valley Freeze Invitational. Glad to have everybody along the ride and tuning in this afternoon for some afternoon hockey. No stranger to afternoon hockey is this building, as they'll shoot that one impossible angle off the side of the cage, and that'll clear all the way back. The original tenants of this building, the Troy Bruins in the 1950s, played most of their games on Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. A few games were at 3 because there was no Zamboni back then, and there's a glove save made by Latif. But most games are either 2 or 3 in the afternoon on Sunday back in the old International Hockey League, before the Bruins would close up shop in 1959, and this building wouldn't see a lot of afternoon hockey until the Sabres came to town in '82, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother broadcast, and offsides is the call. 4:40 to go now here in the opening period. The Trojans holding on to that 1-0 lead off a good, hard-working lunch pail goal. And the face-off won by Johnson for Lexington, but turned back over, and there's a shot wide and high off the end glass from the Trojans as Lexington sends it back for Hollinscamp. Tag teamed down low by Beidel. That one right back to Wilkinson inside his own zone, sends it rink wide to the left wing side. On this breakout attempt, glove down momentarily. Trojans stymie at their own line before they force that one deep inside their own zone on this breakout attempt. Sexton back to Berghardt, now to Beidel at center and over the line. Good heads-up hockey right there as Sexton back to help out Ethan Beidel. Ahead now for Johnson for the Thoroughbreds. Before this one scooped back up by Berghardt. Into the paraphernalia down low as Weaver scoops it up on the left wing side. Here's Mason Weaver. Back into the corner before he's picked away by Wilkinson, and that one's going to come out, and offsides the call now. Stopping the clock with 3 minutes and 32 seconds to go, and we mentioned all of the teams that are participating in this tournament all having an opportunity coming up after this one today. It's a 5:40 tilt between Beaver Creek and Elder. Southwest Ohio High School Hockey League matchup in the making between those two hockey teams. And then Springboro will play Clay at 7:20. And then the Trojans will finish it out against the Troy Recreation Association Bruins U18 team. That a whopping 10:40 start tonight, so if you have an opportunity to come out and watch some hockey, plenty of time to do so today. Back to the far side. Picked up on the half boards all alone. Pat Zavy scores on the rebound. Sexton with the goal. A rebound goal to make it 2-0. But let's not discount the work from Wenning, as well as the defensive pair, especially when you look down there at that initial play towards the net. Just allowing Sexton to sit in Ovechkin's office and finish the play, making it a 2-0 hockey game. As they'll work it back into the far side, that one high over the crease. Goaltender tried to make a play, couldn't get much on it. And the Thoroughbreds back out to center ice they go. Offsides tagged up at the line. This one's going to be picked up down low by Barnes in his own end. Tries to get it up to the half wall. Trojans cleared up the middle, and that never works out well for you. And so the rebound out in front. Latif the save, sprawling out. Loose puck is still on the side of the cage before it's scooped up out of the trapezoid. And a good effort there by the freshman netminder, Simon Latif. And here comes a 2-on-1, or was it? As they're going to say he was a step ahead. And offsides the call against the Trojans to stop the clock with 2 minutes and 3 seconds to go, and a good opportunity to get some fresh legs for both teams out on the ice, where the face-off will remain in the neutral zone. As the draw, won by Smith, picked up down low by Schumann. Miles Schumann's able to get that down, is racing for it. Was Brady Campbell. Soupy, as he's known affectionately in the dressing room. Plays that one around. Nickname affectionately given by former head coach Rick Szabo, much to the chagrin of everyone else, as there's a shot turned aside by Latif. Rebound back into the far wing corner. Big hit on Schumann. Puck back to the top of the circle. Trying to get a piece of it was Francis Knott as Schumann battles off the high glass and out to center. As he and Francis Knott across the wing. Gets that one out. Offside signaled. And Smith's just going to curl back inside the zone, playing the antagonizer before this one clears. Out to center ice. 1 minute to go here in the opening period. As there's Eli Wenning on his own blue line, sends it ahead. Now for Francis Knott, couldn't get much on it. As that shot wide, rebound scooped up now by Williamson for the Thoroughbreds. One touch off the boards and out to center. Back to the Trojans line. In front of the penalty box, that one's finally cleared all the way down as Henry's going to play it out of his crease. 27 seconds and counting. There's that one. Right back top of the circle. Berghardt has time! A glove save, Henry, but it's loose. Back into the far corner where it's picked up. Now by Mason Weaver, who battles deep against the Dashers, getting double timed. Smith back to the point. Berghardt, snapshot, glove, and he's going to hold on. And that's enough to stop the clock with 5.5 seconds on the board, and Henry made the save. That's what he wanted to do the first time, but it fell out of his glove and was not enough to get it done. And so the second time was the charm for the young netminder for Lexington with the face-off inside his own zone with 5.5 seconds to go. And the centerman getting ejected for delay. In to take the draw, one by the Trojans. Smith back to play it, and that'll do it for one period of play. The Trojans will take a 2-0 lead into the first intermission from the Miami Valley Freeze here in Troy, Ohio. A 2-0 lead after 15 minutes of hockey. And when we come back, we'll set the scene for period number 2, and we'll get you set up for the other 2 periods as the Zamboni will head onto the ice surface now. You are watching Troy Trojans Varsity Hockey on Troy, Ohio TV and streaming worldwide on Facebook and YouTube. We'll be back after this. Welcome back inside the historic Hobart Arena in downtown Troy as part of the 2023 Miami Valley Freeze Invitational. Glad to have everybody tuning in for this one here on Troy, Ohio TV and the Troy Trojans Hockey Network as the Trojans currently in the dressing room holding on to a 2-0 lead after one period against the Kentucky Lexington Thoroughbreds, a non-conference and non-state, as it turns out, exhibition game between these two hockey teams as part of this holiday invitational. Shots on goal through one period, 13-5 in favor of the visiting Lexington Thoroughbreds. The Trojans able to muster only 5 quality shots on the board, yet 2 of those found their way to the back of the net, and the go-ahead goal here in the second period scored by Cooper Sexton, and he also had a helper on the first goal as well. So that line having all the offensive prowess, where 13 saves being made by starting netminder Simon Latif, the freshman, getting the nod from head coach Preston Howes, making all 13 saves in that first period. When we come back, we will have period number 2 right here from Hobart Arena as part of the 2023 Miami Valley Freeze. It's Troy, it's Lexington, it's next right here. And we welcome you back inside the historic Hobart Arena in downtown Troy, Ohio, along the banks of the Great Miami River. As part of the 2023 Miami Valley Freeze Invitational, the Trojans taking a 2-0 lead after one period against the Lexington Thoroughbreds from Kentucky. They play high school hockey a little differently in Kentucky. It's through USA Hockey as the Amateur Hockey Association of America, instead of the Ohio High School Athletic Association here as part of varsity athletics. And so it's interesting when you get a chance to see teams from other parts of the country and see how your program stacks up. And so far the Trojans holding their own with a 2-0 lead, as referee Bill Peck at center ice to drop the puck, and we are underway here for period number 2. Fresh ice and a fresh attitude for both teams, as a big hit in front of the Trojans bench. The Trojans technically the visiting team in this game as part of the tournament, and so they're not used to not being in their regular bench. Had a little confusion there during the walk-in. They weren't sure which side of the ice that they were supposed to be in, and you might have saw that a little bit during intermission as this one played up to the point and held on by Berghardt, but that one's going to be scooped up quickly by Kloss, who forces that one down low behind the net. Played around and up the boards on the far wing side. Big hit, knocked that one loose, and finally, no, he shoots and scores! The Trojans was down on the ice in the corner and was not able to cover the point, and that's where that shot came from. And so very early on, Lexington's able to cut the lead down to 1 off a wrister that beat Simon Latif stick side. And so the game just got infinitely more interesting here in the early seconds. That goal coming at the 1:02 mark here of the second period. Forced down and away from behind the net. Played up the wing, picked up by Beidel. He'll send it back to the point, but not out. Shot, Latif gloves it down, and he will not let it go. And a close one there as Latif forced to flash some leather and make the save with 13:34 to go. Here in this second period, a 2-1 lead now for the Trojans. Right off the draw, this one back around to the point. Trojans trying to work it free and cannot. Here's Smith for the Thoroughbreds. Back down low into the near wing corner. He'll skate out from behind the net. Stopped by Beidel. Still tangling out down low. Bodies go flying in front of the net as a poke check made by Latif, and the puck squirts back to the near wing corner where it's picked up. This time by Crawford out of the trapezoid. Now a one-touch pass on the breakout to Beidel. Rink-wide feed in onside. Now the other way for Francis Knott. Close up at the point. Now out through center. Across the Trojans line in onside. A shot into the bread basket of Simon Latif, who is being tested much more frequently here in this middle stanza, at least initially. 12:41 to go in the second period. Trojans struggling to generate offense, particularly out of their own end. A concern you can already see the coaching staff down on the bench addressing. A save Latif, rebound cleared out in front, rebound back to the point, a shot. Hits off a stick down low as Kloss picks it up for the Thoroughbreds. Out of the trapezoid with the puck. Backhand feed now to Bonta. Top of the circle off a shin pad down low. He'll just curl it back into the corner where it's picked up by Schumann. Sent back to the point as Kloss comes into play at top of the circle. Backhander. Latif the save. And that was enough as the Trojans getting wholesale changes. You see defensive coach Matt Denny working with his team down there on the bench, working on clearing it out. What appears almost power play-esque at this point for the Thoroughbreds as the Trojans hemmed in their own end for the first time in this hockey game. Control, back to the point, shot, blocker pad save made by Latif. They'll work it back around. Out from behind the net, still with the puck. Gets it back to the point. Sexton takes a beating down low. That one off a skate and finally clears as Sexton gives chase inside the Thoroughbred zone. Back down low into the corner. Bang it, and now a delayed penalty coming. It's going to be a high-sticking penalty, the first power play of the game at 11:29 here in the second period. As the sticks got a little high, could have potentially called something in front of the Trojans' net, but Troy will get the benefit of the first power play of the game, high sticking right there as you see Jarrell Kindop making the call. And the faceoff remain inside the Lexington zone. That one goes to Sam Bonta, 2 minutes for high sticking. That's Bonta, 2 minutes for high sticking, and the Trojans are on the first power play of the game, brought to you by Clopay, America's favorite garage door. As they'll work it back to the left wing side and across the Lexington line. Feed out side of the trapezoid from behind the net. Sends it top of the circle on this high cycle, give it back to Smith. Smith mishandles the puck slightly, and this one forced all the way back inside the Trojans' end as Latif will leave it off for Sexton. Nearly takes a tumble. Played it out through center, 3 wide at the Lexington line. Forcing it back now for Berghart. Under pressure, here's Berghart. Curls off, top of the circle. Snap shot right into Henry's breadbasket, and that's enough to stop the clock with 10:41 to go. And Berghart had all day to make that play. Not really challenged once he got past the point. He was able to walk in and make the shot. As Berghart picks up the puck right off the draw. Again, snap shot between the circles, but that's hits it back in front. As the block puck makes it back inside the neutral zone. Trojans with a head of steam the other way now, 3 wide across the line. Post back into the near corner. Here's Sexton with it himself between the wickets. Again, now top of the circle, left wing side. Toe drag, loses the puck. And blows a tire all at the same time. And Lexington forced all the way down. And not really a great power play by the looks of it, especially early here, and a big hit right on Wenning, knocks him off the puck. Trojans struggling to maintain puck possession, especially with the physicality, and now a delayed penalty coming from behind the play. It should be an interference call, and it is. We suspected as much. It's going to be an interference call against Sexton. And so that evens things up for another 19 seconds before the Thoroughbreds will have their first power play of the game, albeit abbreviated. And the Trojans going 0 for 1 on their first power play of this hockey game, with now Sexton getting a much-needed rest in the penalty box, if nothing else, after trying to single-handedly carry the offense back inside the Lexington zone. Forcing it back. Thoroughbreds return to full strength, and Bonta, fresh from the bench, works that one in as Latif forced to put a glove on top of it. And so just like that, a good heads-up play from Lexington as Bonta skated out of the penalty box, which is inside the Trojan zone, so you do have to be mindful of tagging up on side. But it is much closer offensively. Another benefit of being in the home bench that the Trojans not typically accustomed to not having. Forced back. Off a shin pad down low. Now here's Luke Harris all by himself. Harris back ahead in a drive from Smith. The rebound carried back into the far corner. Played back. Here's Harris with the puck behind the net. Now for Barnes. Has all day. Barnes a shot. Loose puck on the side of the cage, but nobody was there. Smith picks it up. Top of the circle. A shot hit off a stick and off the end boards. Rebound back to the far corner and up to the point. Having time to settle it down. There's Barnes. He scores! Will Barnes from the point. You can see that effort right there. A short-handed goal for the Trojans to make this back to a 2-goal lead. Good hard work there, as Barnes will get credit for the short-handed goal. And here's Eli Wenning the other way. Played back into the far corner. Had his stick tangled up momentarily as the Thoroughbreds send it back to the point on the far side. Twirling around was Crawford, and for Campbell. Out to neutral ice, picked back up by Andrew Conde, who was able to throw that one in off the backhand. And a big check against the end boards by Francis Knott. Nearly cleared the puck away as they'll skate out to open ice. And a big open ice check again on Wenning. Physicality certainly stepping up here. As here's Francis Knott racing to that loose puck. Tried to get a piece of it. He'll pick it back up on the top of the circle before he's knocked off. Delayed penalty coming. And the fans not happy with what they're seeing there. And that should be against Lexington. As the referee, Bill Peck, saw the whole thing. And you can do a lot of things on the ice, but you can't get away with something directly in front of former State Highway Patrol Lieutenant Mr. William Peck. And just like that, the Trojans now earning a power play with 7 minutes and 44 seconds to go here in this second period. The Trojans back in the driver's seat of a 2-goal lead. But as my old man would always say, a 2-goal lead is the most dangerous lead in hockey, and I think you can imagine why. Trojans on the power play again, brought to you by Clopay. Right from the point of drive, as that was up high, up into the cheater. Got a piece of Henry, and that was enough to stop the clock now with 7:38 to go here in the second period. Now, physicality definitely stepping up here in this second period. And you see it with the additional penalties that we've seen. Trojans 0 for 1 already tonight on the power play, but do have a shorthanded goal thanks to Will Barnes as that drive, save pad by Henry, and they will clear it 185 feet the other way. As back to get it is Smith. Head of steam the other way out of his own zone. 2 wide at the line in onside. Drops it back for Luke Harris, a drive. Now ahead, trying to get a piece of Campbell, and Soupy pulled the trigger, but it wasn't enough. As that's back to Harris into the near corner. Centering feed in the slot, bouncing puck into the mitt of Henry, and that's enough to stop the clock now with 7:01 to go in this middle period. Trojans still holding on to a 3-1 lead. 1:17 to go on the Trojans power play, their second of the night. As Smith is in the box for interference. Right off the draw, Smith, a hard shot, high, loose puck off the side of the cage. And the Trojans getting the message from the coaching staff in the dressing room. Shots, lots of shots. And you see that on the scoreboard. Shots on goal now 18-13. Still in favor of Lexington, but much more on the Trojan side here in this second period, as they only had 5 after 15 minutes. And that message being seen as Sexton walks into the slot. Didn't get a shooting solution, but sends it back now as Smith tosses it away, and that one clears out to neutral ice. As Sexton was diving for it, Wenning picks it up top of the circle and skates into the corner. Back for Sexton, bouncing puck, given right ahead. Out in front, shoots! He scores! Winning on the side of the cage! Taps it in like Happy Gilmore! And it is a 4-1 hockey game with 6:08 to go in the second. Holy cow! Happy learned how to putt. A power play goal for the Trojans, as they have now had a shorthanded and a power play goal in this hockey game to make it 4-1 on the big board where it counts. And that is it for Henry's night. As a new goaltender in net, that's number 99, Julian Tovar. The Thoroughbreds making a goaltender change after that 4th Trojans goal, which is interesting. That goal wasn't entirely his fault, as he didn't have a whole lot to work with picking up the loose puck on the side. Needless to say, Tovar in net, a 2-on-1 the other way as Johnson couldn't catch the pass. Rebound back on the half boards and out to center. Across the line, there's Carson Smith. Gets it down low into the corner. Point blank shot, hit off a helmet down low, bouncing puck away. Back to the far corner. They're going to say it's offsides, and it retreats back inside the zone. Physicality in front of the benches continues. Lexington able to force that one deep inside the zone. Latif back to play it out of his own net. One-touch pass and ahead for Harris. Outlet to Barnes. Picked up by Smith for the Thoroughbreds, and he takes a tumble. And the Trojans are able to clear it the other way and get some fresh legs out on the ice. 4:52 to go in this second period. It's a 4-1 hockey game. Here's Weaver, had his stick lifted at the last moment, picks up his own rebound. Tovar makes the save. Rebound back to the point. Backhander from Condi. Sends it around, top of the circle, battling for it down low. Condi couldn't control, and he's in a foot race the other way. Back inside the Trojans' end. That one scooped up, back by Weaver. Across the line, too wide. Tovar the save. Rebound. Finally meanders its way all the way down. And icing signaled, icing the call against Lexington to stop the clock now with 4 minutes and 10 seconds to go. And the faceoff will come back inside the Lexington zone as Tovar adjusts his equipment ever so slightly. Looks like he may have a buckle loose on one of his pads, brightly purple pads, as it were. And from the draw, this one played by Tovar back into the corner. That one clears out to center and up and out of play. And that one, another souvenir puck brought to you by OGP, the official game puck provider of Trojan hockey all season long. And because that one was not touched by a Trojan on its way out, the faceoff will come all the way back inside the Lexington zone. And right from the draw, this one pumped back into the near corner. Players go tumbling down low. As a loose puck picked up by Tova. They say it's loose. And finally covered up as the players come together after the whistle. And some pushing and shoving going on there as well. And you see the players come together at the tail end of that play. And the goaltender, Julian Tovar, was kind of right in the middle of that one. And so we'll do that one again. And so the faceoff will remain inside the Lexington zone, and right from the draw, that shot from the far point from Campbell. Pad save made by Tovar. And we'll do that one all over again. 3 minutes and 41 seconds to go here in this second period. Trojans holding on to that 4-1 lead. And the bouncing puck gifted right to Schumann. Loose puck on the side. Doesn't make it to the net. And that one now the other way. Across the line. Shot! Pad save made off the blocker for Latif. And a good save right there under the gun. Forces that one again. Back to the near corner. Wing it off the side. This one ahead. Now for Smith, the shot. Tovar the save. And he will hold on wisely and so. And so fresh legs out on the ice for both teams. And the faceoff will remain inside the Lexington zone now with just 3 minutes and 11 seconds left here in the second period. And from the faceoff, Troy controls. Back for Harris. Paddled aside by Tovar. Harris picks up the own rebound. Paddles down low into the corner before it's scooped away. Up the half boards now for Barnes. Under pressure, tries to send it in front of the net as Harris is back to play it. So are the Thoroughbreds, and out to center they come. Under pressure and across the line, working it in just wide of Latif. And the Trojans now breaking it out of their own zone, sending it ahead. Deep inside the Lexington zone, it hit off a Tovar and almost went in his own net. A close call right there for the youngster as the Trojans out through neutral ice. That one hits off a skate, or did it? They're going to say it went out of play into the penalty box. And that's enough to stop the clock with just 19 seconds over 2 minutes to go here in this second period. As you see, both hockey teams getting fresh changes as the two officials try and figure out exactly where they are going to spot the faceoff. And they're going to put it at center ice as it never technically left the neutral zone, as it went out of play the moment that it entered the penalty box. And now head coach of the Lexington Thoroughbreds getting an explanation from Bill Peck down on the bench. They thought they were owed a penalty for slashing as play continues. It was not called. And I don't know. We've had some pretty tit-for-tat stuff that you see at pretty much every higher level of hockey, and so to just start calling that would be a bit of a slog, especially when you consider the tempo and flow that this hockey game has had. And perhaps that might just be a misunderstanding between different hockey associations, between the varsity hockey here in Ohio and the high school hockey in Kentucky, as play continues out through center ice. Here's Sexton. Out of his own zone, he'll send it around for Condi. That's touched up through neutral ice. Good play, no icing. Still force it down low. Still out of their own zone. Almost a set play like what you would see back in the old two-line pass era. Just that one touch and go. And that was enough to keep play going as the shot off the side of the cage. Very hard angle. Rebound again, covered up with the mitt down low of Julian Tovar. An interesting number, if nothing else, for a goaltender wearing number 99. And that's a choice. We'll give it that. Takes a little bit of confidence to wear the Great One's number. particularly as a rookie netminder, but confidence is key, especially in that position, so we'll allow it as play continues back into the far corner. Here's Francis Knott. That's paddled away by Tovar. There's that confidence we were talking about. As back to play to Smith. Works it out of the trapezoid before he gets his pocket picked right back into the near wing corner. There's O'Boyle for the Thoroughbreds. Tries to clear to head for Smith. Got stymied at his own line. Similar to what we saw the Trojans get hemmed in at the tail end of the first period. As Smith is able to hold on to the loose puck, carries it in all himself, and that shot deflected away. And now O'Boyle for the Thoroughbreds carries it ahead deep inside Trojan territory with under a minute now to go here in this middle period. Big hit by Smith knocks the puck free. Now ahead for Francis Knott. Across the line in onside. There's a centering feed. Couldn't get much offense on it. And so O'Boyle again. Inside the Trojans' end, a shot turned aside by the leg pad of Simon Latif. As the Trojans will pick up the loose puck, 26 seconds in counting, sends it rink wide. Now for Beidel racing for it, delayed icing, and icing the call just as Beidel was about to touch it. And a bit of a heartbreak there for the Trojans, but it will get a face-off and a change down inside the Trojans' end. 21.2 seconds to go. And in to take the face-off is Will Barnes. Picked up the game's fourth goal for the Trojans as there's a shot saved right on by Latif. Knocked the net off its post as you see him fix it right there. Finally cleared out to neutral ice as play continues. Now for Schumann, drops it back. Nobody was home, and so that was a bit of luck there as the time expires after 2 periods of play. The Trojans have a 4-1 lead after 30 minutes of hockey against the Lexington Thoroughbreds. Shots on goal through this period, 26-18 in favor of the Thoroughbreds, and we will step aside when we come back. Third period action from Hobart Arena. This is Troy Trojans Hockey on Troy, Ohio TV. And welcome back inside the historic Hobart Arena in downtown Troy as we get set for period number 3. As part of this 2023 Miami Valley Freeze Invitational, and we are underway. The Trojans in the driver's seat of a 4-1 lead against the Lexington Thoroughbreds if you're just joining us. Third period action just underway. I'm JT Zabo. Glad to have everybody tuning in wherever that may be tonight on the Troy Trojans Hockey Network, streaming live on YouTube. Just search Troy Trojans Hockey, as well as on Facebook Live. Search Troy Trojans Hockey or Troy, Ohio TV, whichever you prefer, and watch us on whatever device, wherever you may be. Again, the Trojans in Game 2 of this weekend tournament had a big win last night against the Alternites to kick off the tournament, looking to extend their winning streak here at home to 2 games with this win against non-conference Lexington from Lexington, Kentucky. Have one late game tonight against the Troy Rec Program U18 team before finishing it off tomorrow is the loose puck made by Tovar. He sprawled out to make the save. Rebound, still without a twig, works it back into the far corner. Played from behind the net, delayed penalty coming. It's going to go against Troy. It's a cross-checking penalty, and that'll give Lexington another power play. With 14:02 to go, a cross-checking penalty against Sexton. And you see him in the box right there, not so super happy with himself. And nonetheless, that brings the faceoff back inside the Trojans' end. Trojans already with one shorthanded goal on the game. Now back on the penalty kill as they'll race inside the Lexington zone.